Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight interview. I am so excited to be here today with Pablo. Hello, welcome. So today, for those of you who aren't familiar with what this interview series is, let me really quickly introduce the idea behind it. So the Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight series came about when I realized that the students, the amazing people, artists, creative folks who are inside of my class, Learning Sound and Synthesis, are doing incredible things. They are doing installations and winning awards and releasing albums and just deepening their practices in really inspiring ways. And there's so much that I wanted to be able to talk to them about, to learn from them about how they made the kind of progress that they have made. And I realized that I didn't want to just talk to them one-on-one. I wanted to be able to share that with all of you so that we could all learn as well from their progress and sometimes from their failures and their sticky points and how they have kind of grown as musicians and artists. So that's the idea behind this series. Welcome. I'm very happy you're here. If you're tuning in live, go ahead and drop a comment below and say hello. Let us know that you're watching live. It's always nice to see people here. And with that, I would like to introduce Pablo. Can you share a little bit with us about who you are, what you do, what kind of music you make?
Hello, I'm Pablo. I'm from Venezuela. I'm a visual artist and now musician too. I work mostly in digital art, generative art and sound. Well, it's been a long way since I studied arts in the college, and I've been developing my work through the years, and now adding sound, and I feel that it has been a big step in my process.
So were you your first kind of artistic practice is visual arts, right? And you said generative visual art, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so before, when you started, there wasn't an audio component, or were you already making music to accompany that visual art?
Uh, I work with sounds. Uh, I did some little stuff, but I not uh, I'm not training in music, so I learn a little bit of music theory, but I don't play any traditional instrument. So I felt very limited where what I can do with sound. And most of the time, I work with another musician or sound artist in my work. I collaborate with people, but always feel the need to be more complete with the work I do.
Okay, I see. So at what point did you decide that you really wanted to be able to make your own music and your own sound for your work? I mean, obviously collaborating with other artists and musicians is fantastic too, but what I just heard you say, it sounded like there was kind of a feeling that you wanted to be more, I think you said more complete or more able to work on all aspects of your art making. Is that right?
Yes, I always been very close to music and musicians from my family. My family came from uh, a lineage of classical music, and my sister play violin in the symphony of Venezuela. And I always loved music, and in college I started working in a collective audiovisuals, and there are several musicians. I start DJing, and I always love music, but I never feel that I was capable of do my own music. And yeah, I feel frustrated for that.
Hmm.
But when I encounter electronic music, I feel, well, I'm very good with computers and coding and the technical stuff, and I think I could do something in that realm of electronic music made with computers. And I did some stuff, some experiments, but I never feel that it was good enough or good. I don't like the things I did at the time. So it was always in my mind that I need to practice more. I need to learn new stuff. Was at the beginning of the pandemic that I saw you. Well, first I learned what modular synthesis was,
Uh-huh.
and I thought, wow, that sounds pretty in the in the in my field, no? Pretty close with the things I do. I don't have any idea what's before of modular synthesis, and I start investigating, looking for new stuff. I discover BCB rack,
Hmm.
for me was a big step. Something very big.
Hmm.
But I encounter the software and say, okay, and now what? What is all that mean? And I start trying, seeing tutorials in YouTube, but like I never no nothing may click with me, and I feel very frustrated again, but
Hmm.
I knew that that was a path to follow.
I think that what you just shared is such a common experience for people in your position. Like you have some kind of creative practice that's working and it's fulfilling clearly, right? But there's some aspect of it that you want to go deeper into. So for you, it was you weren't feeling satisfied with the sounds that you were able to make to accompany your visual art. For someone else, it could be that they want to be able to make a different genre of music, or they want to be able to finish more music,
Mhm.
or whatever it is. You If you find your way to the world of synthesis and modular synthesis, which is, in my opinion, awesome, because I could go on for hours about all of the doors creatively that learning modular synthesis opened up for me that I was not expecting it to do, but I won't because this is your interview. I'll save that story for another time. Um, so if you find your way there, that's great, but then that's not the end, right? Then you have to be like, okay, what now? How do I make heads or tails? How do I make sense of this enormous new technical world? And that can be really frustrating. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Clearly, you got through it and you overcame that initial frustration. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about how you did that, Pablo. But I just want to say first to anyone who's watching who's new to this, new to modular synthesis, new to electronic music, new to sound design, if it does feel frustrating at first, two things. Number one, that's normal, right? You're learning something new. You're not going to be good at it right away. This is a technical topic. And number two, send me a message or leave a comment on this video. Let me know that you're new. Let me know that you're curious about getting started. I have a ton of resources, videos, training, all kinds of things that I can help you with to help you get started. Okay. Okay. Back to you, Pablo. So you clearly, like I said, you clearly overcame this frustration. So what happened next? Was that the point that you enrolled in learning sound and synthesis, or was there something else that you did to jump into the world of modular?
No, yes, was seeing you. I follow you for a time, and I see that you were doing this course, and I love the presentation, the trailer, and where you explain all the things we can accomplish at the end. I thought, yes, that this is. And I did first the introduction, the little one you have,
Yeah,
in, I think,
the free
production.
mini
Yeah, the
course.
free
Yep.
one.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it. I quickly understand a lot of things, and that was the point. I take the decision to make the course.
Okay. First of all, I'm
Yeah,
so
and
happy to
yeah.
hear that you loved that class. Thank you for saying that. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you going to say?
No, no, no. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay.
I forget what I was going to say.
No problem. So, what would you say when we were prepping for this interview and you were telling me a little bit about your story, you shared something with me that really blew my mind about one particular kind of transformation that you had after going through that class. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and kind of how that came about?
Uh, well, I started the course. I was doing it very quickly and doing all the modules, and but I don't tell anybody I was doing that. Was like a secret for me, because I felt I around a lot of musicians and very talented people that do it incredible stuff, and I don't I feel, and I don't know how to say this, very shy at talking about I'm doing now music
Yeah.
and learning to do music, and I, little by little, I was posting some things that I was doing. Was I live in Mexico City, and the ambient here of the electronic music, experimental music, is very big. So I always go to events and meet with people, and was with some friends. They ask me, oh, what are you doing? I say, oh, I do this with graphics and visuals and interactive installation and stuff, and people start following me, and they one time people say, oh, but you do music too, and say, oh, well, not really. But was a friend, a very good friend, that one day invited me to her house, and she made electronic music, have their synthesizers, and say, well, let's play together, let's do a jam, improvisation, and okay, I go in with my computer and we connect, and we start playing, and everything was synchronizing, and sound incredible great, and she sing over my sequence, and was a big change for me, and say, wow, I'm doing stuff, this is real. Yes,
Ah,
that
that's
time I
cool.
say, okay, I'm a musician too. Was
Yes.
playing with other people, was for me right now is one of the most wonderful things I can do. I say I collaborate with other musicians, it's great working together and do projects and different things. But playing with somebody, music, the two musicians working is something fantastic.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It honestly gives me chills just seeing how excited you just got telling us the story about that experience of like making music with another person and then having that realization for the first time, like, yeah, I am a musician, because you are. Absolutely. But that's a
Yes.
big deal. It's a big deal to be like, wow, I am a musician and I am going to like tell people that. I also really appreciate what you shared about how early on when you started learning sound and synthesis in the class, you were almost doing it in secret. Um, it's a really vulnerable thing to share, and I think that a lot of people can probably relate to that feeling of, like, being not good at something and how it's not very fun, right? And it's sort of hard to admit that you're a complete especially as we get older. Isn't it kind of funny? Like, we get older, we become adults, we're supposed to be really good at things, and so it gets harder to be a beginner, right? But I want to acknowledge you for not only for doing that, and jumping into something that was unfamiliar to you, but for sticking it through and being okay with kind of not being good at it for a while and having the courage to start to share little by little what you were up to, because that led you to this experience that you just shared with us of being able to perform with other people and have this new confidence in yourself of being a musician. So anyone watching, go back once this video's over, rewatch what Pablo just said, because it's so powerful. We have to all start somewhere, and you never know where it's going to lead. It's really awesome. So thank you for saying that. Can you share a little bit about what your life looks like now in terms of your creative practice?
Uh, well, it's changed a lot because since the last year I've been playing music
Yep.
and visuals, the both things, in different events, and I have been invited to to play in electronic ambient shows that in cultural events in university or in the museums,
Awesome.
and that was been very cool.
Yeah.
And I've been collaborating with these friends I told you, um, and now we are being invited to play to perform in the next Mutec Mexico. So for me, it's a very big deal that
That's
the
amazing.
greatest team. That's yeah.
Wow.
We are going to be performing visuals and music, and that, well, this is for me is the culmination or something, because I follow this event, this festival, since the 90s, and I always admire and love all the musicians that play there, and then later I had the opportunity to go to the festival and get blow my mind to see all the greatest things. And now I'm going to be playing alone. I love those musicians that I follow since 20 years ago, and well, being this and that stage, yeah, is something that changed my life. My life now is very different.
Okay, I did not know about this before we started this interview. Huge congratulations to go from not, your words, right? Being frustrated about your practice, not feeling like you're really a musician, like not feeling like you can even make music for your own creative visual work, to to playing with other people, playing on big stages and getting invited to perform at MUTEC, Mexico, which is a huge festival. I mean, that is you must feel very proud of yourself. That is a huge, exciting accomplishment. I wish I could go and see you. That would be incredible. So
Yes.
I would love to just see if we can break this down a little more, because for someone watching, that's a huge accomplishment, right? And so far, all we've said is that you dove. I mean, we've said some good things. You dove in even though you felt vulnerable being a beginner. You just went for it. You started to share what you were doing with other people. That's huge. I'm sure that led to a lot of these invitations and collaborations. But can you think for a second if there's anything else that was particularly helpful in allowing you to get to where you are today? It could have been something from the learning sound and synthesis class, or something from the community, or just anything else that comes up for you that helped you move through all of this.
My base and my foundation is the course, the sound and learning. Um, and I always going back to see some classes again, and sometimes I feel stuck on something, and I want to not just create technically, but in the creative part, I go back to see some of the modules. um, and for me, it's very well structured. It have for me was being able to grow module by module was very important, because I was, for me, is discovering a new world, seeing, okay, that connected with that, it make that sound, but I can modulate connecting other thing with that. And it's very basic, and at the time, how to say this, well, helped me a lot to understand music, in not just the technical part, but music in general.
Mm-hmm.
How approach the instrument like an orchestra, how I can structure different parts, and how I can evolve the music, and the sound, the sessions, and all of that was very important to me. I the thing I do right now in music are not too much like songs, are more like long sessions.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the an improvisation. I talk that from you, the importance of improvisation, and I feel very comfortable in that way. But yes, the course is my base for everything I doing right now.
I'm very happy to hear that. And you're always, as you know, welcome to come back to it as often as you need, because you have lifetime access to it. So keep using it as you need, keep coming back, and you're always more than welcome to join us in the future. So this is a good moment, actually. I want to share a couple of links in the chat for everyone. I'm going to put a link to Pablo's SoundCloud page for everyone to go check out all of this amazing music. I know you asked me to pick one. I couldn't pick one. Go listen to all of the music. It's great. There's a lot there. The other link that I'm going to share in the chat right now is a link to the Learning Sound and Synthesis waitlist, which is the class that we have been talking about for the last little while. This class, Learning Sound and Synthesis, is something that I only run 2 times a year, and the next cohort is actually opening up in just about 2 weeks, in mid-August, and it's not going to run again in 2023. So if you're curious about learning modular synthesis, if you're feeling that spark or that tug that you want to take your creative practice in a new direction, or have more agency over your ability to do your own sound design or make your own music, this class will help you do that. It will walk you step by step, as Pablo was saying, through all of the technical stuff that you need to know, all of the modules and tools and techniques, so that you know exactly how modular synthesizers work. And really importantly, it's not just going to teach you technical stuff, it's also going to really help you understand how to make music with all of that new technical information that you're learning, so that you can make your album, do your live performance, make that track that you've been thinking of, or that 24-hour meditation event, or that dance party, or whatever it is that you have that you want to be able to create. This class will walk you through all the technical stuff and how to apply it creatively to make the music that you want to make. So I invite you to hop on the waitlist. Joining the waitlist simply means that you'll be notified as soon as the doors open, and you'll also receive an entire extra special training for free as a gift when you enroll in learning sound and synthesis from the waitlist, which is my live performance with Modular Synths masterclass. So if you're curious and you want to know more, go ahead, click that link, hop on the waitlist, and in about 2 weeks, the doors will open and we're going to kick off a whole new cohort. I can't wait. So excited. Pablo, is there anything else that you would like to say about your journey, or about what's coming up for you, or any final words before we wrap up for today?
Well, I give you the thanks for inviting me. I admire you and your work, your music, and the education that you are doing. I recommend everybody that asks me, what are those all these spaghetti cables, and what are all these doing? Because the people are very curious when they see or the modules in digital, or my modules in physical, and people. It's weird, no, the cables, and people ask me. I always say, oh, I have a very great teacher, and I learn everything from her, and recommend everyone that want to explore more of this and see your videos, and in your YouTube and more, and subscribe to the Learn and Synthesis, Sound and Synthesis.
Well, thank you so much for saying that. It's been honestly such a pleasure having you in the class and supporting your incredible journey through modular synthesis and beyond. And I really hope that you keep us posted. Let us know when you're playing shows. Let us know if you are, whenever you release new music, I, for one, would love to hear about it and to continue just following your journey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll wrap up here for now. Thank you to everyone who's watching and listening. And thank you again, Pablo, for sharing your story with us today. And we'll see you at the next Spotlight Series interview. Bye, everyone.